Welcome back to the show where we run you through all the Dolphins news you need to know about. After the news you need to know about, we run you through the fan Q&A, we answer fans' questions. Lots to talk about on today's show. Lots and lots of stuff to talk about. So let's start with the news. I guess we'll start here. Everybody knows that Tyreek Hill was detained. We're not going to talk about it. It was terrible, awful situation. I honestly kind of wish everybody would stop talking about it because we have a really big game on Thursday. That means a lot to the division and the team. There's a lot going into that game, and it's very important. So I hope everybody's as focused as they can be on this game because it is such an important game that I kind of wish this... I mean, I think that's the worst thing, other than the, I guess, political things that are... I guess I shouldn't say that's the worst thing to come out of this. But from a fan perspective, it just really sucks that that this is just it just feels like it's kind of getting a little bit crazy, even though what happened was out of control crazy. It's unfortunate that this had to happen a few days before we play the Buffalo Bills, so that sucks. But what was I gonna say? Yeah, everybody knows what happened. It was an awful situation. Shouldn't have happened. Don't know why it happened. Just really bad luck. Very unfortunate. So let's move on to... I can't believe we haven't even talked about this yet, I don't think. Jalen Ramsey, the Miami Dolphins extend Jalen Ramsey. This comes from Pro Football Rumors. Jalen Ramsey has agreed to a big-ticket deal. The All-Pro corner has worked out a 3-year, $72 million extension. This pact will include $55 million in guaranteed money. I'm not going to lie, this came very surprising to me. I think it's a really good extension because even if Jalen, in his older years, he can still play safety. He can still play nickel corner. He can still do a lot of the things that make him special. So he's going to have a long career in the NFL at a high level. So it's not a bad contract extension. I was a little surprised, though. I just never expected him to be here that long for whatever reason. So it was a nice surprise that the Dolphins did this. And I would also say that it's just going to be really interesting to see how this impacts other players on the team, like Jalen Phillips especially, who is one of our best players. And I hope that doesn't affect anything with him because he's so great. He's such a great player. And that's the only thing I would say is like a negative is like, how does this impact everyone else with all the deals that have gotten done in this offseason? But it was still a really good contract extension. I like it. There's really no downside to it. He played great in the Jacksonville game, even though he was limited. He had a couple of moments of... Brian Thomas had a really good game. He did get beat deep on one play. But other than that, especially in the second half, I thought Kendall Fuller also looked really good, which was nice. I thought they both looked really good. And if he could have played the entire game, and if he was healthy, that would have been even better. I can't imagine as a corner getting taken out and put back in would suck. So hopefully against the Bills that doesn't happen and he's not on a pitch count, and he can just kind of play the entire game. So I really like the extension. I think it was a really good idea, and it came as a surprise. So this last news story, I almost forgot about this. The Dolphins injury report against the Bills, which is very important. This is a very important game. So it sucks this is week 2. I really wish this was like week 6 or 8, somewhere in there. But of course, shout out to the NFL scheduling. It just kind of really annoys me that they would schedule it this early. Such a big game. So the injury report, back to the injury report. Raheem Mostert and Devon Achane have not participated in practices. Even though the Dolphins didn't practice today, they just did walkthroughs. And a part of me hopes that... I swear to God, every time we play Buffalo, somebody's hurt. And it's really annoying. But, those are two really important players, Devon Achane and Raheem Mostert, especially Achane. He does so much for the team. And he opens up the playbook a lot too. So hopefully he can play. I think he's really important. But what was I going to say? I hope, because it was such a physical, close, long, grueling type of game, I hope, because it's a short week, that they're just not practicing the guys and they're just doing walkthroughs and just mentally preparing for the game, which is totally fine as long as they play. So I hope that's what's going on, because if we're stuck with, and then God bless it, this is why we drafted Jalen Wright, is for a situation just like this. The fact that we're down 2 of our starting running backs, and I don't think we will be. I think we'll have one of the two, at least one of the two, and I hope A-Chain and Mostert play. I think Raheem probably will play. I hope they both play, but that's not the point. The point is that we did draft Jalen Wright. Clearly, he's not. I mean, he was literally inactive for today's game or against Jacksonville. Mike has done this with a bunch of rookies where he clearly doesn't feel comfortable with them as much, and we've heard about how complex the playbook is and stuff of that nature, but physically, Jalen Wright is a much more talented player than Jeff Wilson, who did have a really good game against Jacksonville. At least there's that. But hopefully those two can play, and especially A-Chain and how much he means to the team from just all the other things we can do on offense with him. If he's not out there, it's not like it just is. It's not as good as if we had him out there. So, and it's just another threat to deal with for the Buffalo Bills. So that would be hopefully he plays. So let's get into this game. Bunch of thoughts on it. I want to start offensively. First of all, we'll start with this because I think this is just kind of a league-wide issue, and it affected the Dolphins as well. Clearly the team was rusty, especially in the first half. I mean, there was a lot of drop passes. Tua missed a touchdown, barely missed a touchdown, even though I thought after that he had a really good day throwing the football, made some really good throws in this game. Especially the Tyreek throw was super underrated. Not many players can make that throw, and him like that. Yes, he was open, but most of the time that's going to be definitely not in stride, and it's going to be out of bounds. It's not going to be an 80-yard touchdown. That was a perfectly thrown football. So I thought Tua threw the football really well today, which was good. He was a little bit more mobile. I think, and these are just we're just gonna go through things that things that stood out to me. So that stood out to me. He was a little bit more mobile. One of the biggest positives of the game, even though the Dolphins gave up, I believe, 3 sacks in this game, but most of them were not. Most of them were just coverage sacks. I thought, because Jacksonville has a really good defensive front, like a really good defensive front. They have 3 really good defensive linemen with Eric Armstead, Josh Allen, and Trayvon Walker. And I thought the pass protection was really good in this game. I think the worst performance on the offensive line was definitely Robert Jones. But other than that, I thought the offensive line played really good football. When it came to pass protection, they looked really good. Austin Jackson and Teron Armstead played really good football. And that's going to be really, really clutch against the Buffalo Bills. So that was really, really nice to see. It really, really, really was. And, that's as good as a D-line as they're going to play all year. And, some of those deep shots that we hit kind of illustrated that. And, we just had more time to go through reads, I thought, in this game than normal. So that was really nice to see. What other stuff offensively do I want to bring up? We talked about the Russ thing. The run game wasn't good at all. The Jags defense did a really good job. The run blocking got better as the game went on, which is good. I thought once we stopped doing some of the edge runs and we kind of just went downhill, we had a lot more success with the fullback dives and Jeff Wilson coming in to kind of salt the game away. So it was nice to run the football when we had to, which was a huge improvement from last year. Anytime we had to run the football in big moments, we couldn't do it outside of maybe the Cowboys game. So that was really good to see, even though it wasn't a really good day running the football. But I thought when we had physical downhill runs, we did pretty good, and especially on short yardage, which was a huge issue last year. And I thought we did a good job of converting those in this game. We did it several times. Two to Alec Ingold, one A-Chain took in for a touchdown. Those were all big plays in the game. And obviously the Jeff Wilson stuff. Other things offensively that I didn't love some of the play calling in this game in big moments. There was a couple of 3rd and 3s. I believe one of them was after. I want to say it was after the 4th down stop. We had made a big play, and then we were driving, and we messed it up, and end up getting not as much as we should have gotten out of it. We ended up throwing like a swing screen pass to Raheem Mostert, which I didn't love. I would rather us standard pass play, try to get 3 yards with our playmakers. So some of that stuff, but I thought the play calling was pretty good, actually, throughout the entire game. But that play really bothered me. That specific play really bothered me. I just hate when Mike does that. When he gets too cute with some of that stuff, it's like, just let Tua throw the football for 3 yards. Like, I'm confident we're pass protecting pretty good. Just let him get the 3 yards. You don't have to fake one way, throw a screen the other way. Like, it's just let Tua get the yards. They're good enough to do that. And that really bothered, that play really bothered me. But other than that, there wasn't any calls that I absolutely hated. But that call bothered me. It reminded me of some of the other games where he's done that. Like the Steelers game comes to mind. There's a few others that I'm like, why? Just try to get the first down. There was something else. This really bothered me. I was very disappointed in Jonnu Smith. I have no idea. I think he played 9 snaps or something crazy like that. And all we've heard, and this is why these beat writers bother me so much, all we've heard all offseason is this Jonnu Smith package. And it's like, what the heck, where was it in this game? Like, we were throwing to Durham Smythe and Julian Hill, and they just dropped a bunch of passes. And it's like, why isn't that Jonnu Smith? Why isn't that Jonnu Smith in that play? I really didn't understand that. It really bothered me. And he's a capable run blocker. So I don't know why, that kind of bothered me a little bit. Don't know why Jonnu Smith. I hope he plays more because he has more plays called for him. Because I thought he would really help with there not being a real true third option in the passing game. And we haven't had a tight end that has had his kind of talent since Mike McDaniel's been here. And to see it kind of just wasted was a little disappointing. He was on the sideline way too much, and I thought he should have played a lot more than he did. And I hope that changes in the games to come, because he should not be on the sideline as much as he was, especially when we're throwing the football to Durham Smythe and Julian Hill. I mean, Durham Smythe, God bless him, he's over here dropping passes, and it's just like, he's just not. It's like, why isn't Jonnu Smith out there? So one thing I will say, and I think this is the coolest thing, it was just like, wow. When I saw Mike, Tua, Tyreek, and Waddle on the sideline, I was like, man, we really do have a good football team. Like, before the game started, it was like, I haven't had that feeling of just like, that's a lot of talent on the sideline and offensively. And it was just cool. It was a cool feeling because I've been a Dolphins fan for so long, to see that was cool. And I was like, yeah, it's just cool. They were all really phenomenal. I mean, Waddle, Hill, Tua, I thought, were the reasons we really won this game on offense or scored any points at all. I thought, those are, our big three and big four, really, with A-Chain. Can't forget about him. And they're all four phenomenal. All three of them had over 100 yards, or at least 100 yards. Waddle looked great. Waddle looked way better than he did at the end of last year, which was great. He looks like the old Jalen Waddle. I thought we threw the ball on outside the numbers more too, which I thought was pretty awesome. We had a really nice deep power out to to Waddle, and Tua threw them really well, and hopefully we do more of that this year. And I think, I have a feeling that we're going to, which is good. One other thing I want to say that I know a lot of people have said, I disagree, and I've disagreed ever since it was a complaint with him, that Tua is a one-read quarterback. That's just not true. There was plenty of examples of that in that game. The throw to Tyreek Hill for the 80-yard touchdown, great example. That wasn't the first read. Looked at a second read, liked how the play was developing, made a phenomenal throw for an 80-yard touchdown. So yeah, like I have never believed that about him. His most famous play of his career in the national championship is looking off a safety and throwing a touchdown. So he can go through progressions and manipulate defenses, and he's not a one-read quarterback. I think that's the most silly criticism of him, in my opinion. I know people disagree with that, but I don't believe that. So the Dolphins finished with a ton of yards. They finished with 400 total yards, 319 passing, 81 rushing. They averaged 6 yards per play. We really just and we could have had way more. The one to Tyreek Hill, that should have been an easy walk-in touchdown. So we actually, even though it was an ugly game, we had a really nice day offensively. I think, dude, honestly, I think the drive that I was really mad about that we didn't get points on, the Waddle play, there was just a lot of fourth downs we didn't convert. We were really out of sync and sloppy at times, especially in that first half. But we still were moving the football. I mean, we had 400 yards against a really good defense. And I think the thing that I thought that stood out the most was the pass protection was better. Shout out to Aaron Brewer, who played really good in this game. Moving on to the defensive side of the football. And one more thing. I already brought up the Jonnu Smith thing. I hope that changes. I cannot wait for Odell Beckham to come back, because it's like, dude, I just can't wait to see Odell in this offense. It's going to be really cool. That's one of the other things I thought. It's like, dude, it's like how that just adds a whole nother element to this team. Okay, we'll start defensively. Crazy. Trevor Lawrence only completed 12 passes in this game. He only had 21 attempts. Pretty crazy. Dolphins defense did really good, especially in the second half. The Jags finished with, The Jags finished with only under 300 yards, 267 total yards. So the defense played really good. We dropped Trevor threw a really inaccurate pass early in the game, went off Jordan Poyer's hands, should have been an easy interception. In terms of I thought Anthony Weaver really did a great job in the second half of making adjustments. Really good timely blitz calls, that different pressures at different times. So I'm glad that kind of carried over. I thought some of the run defense issues that we had was just I guess maybe it's not familiarity playing, or just because it's week 1 and nobody's played football in a long time at this level. We had players taking the same gap at one point with Jordan Brooks, David Long taking the same gap. Bigsby breaks off. I think that was the biggest run of the day when they were backed up on their own goal line. That stuff just can't happen. People just being out of position. So I don't think the run defense is going to have issues like that. At least I hope not. The pass rush looked really good. Ogba looked a lot. He actually looked pretty good in this game. He looked better than he did last year. Maybe it's the scheme change that's really helped him out. Maybe he just didn't fit Vic Fangio's scheme. And maybe Anthony Weaver is just a better defensive coach than Vic Fangio. What else did I notice? Yeah, it was nice that the pass rush. Shout out to Calais Campbell for getting a sack. He looked really good in this game, which is actually proving me wrong. I thought the number one issue that I had defensively that bothered me the entire time, Cater Co. has just not gotten better. Every team that we play, game plans and picks on number 4. If that isn't clear to everybody watching Dolphins games at this point, then I really don't know what is. He should be on the shortest leash of all time. Try Ethan Bonner there. Try Storm Duck there. Try anybody else at this point. I thought he had a really bad game. Clearly, teams pick on him, and that really hasn't changed. So that's kind of unfortunate. Didn't really notice Jordan Brooks that much. David Long had a really good game, which is a good thing. I didn't notice Jordan Brooks. The middle of the field really didn't seem like that big of an issue as it was last year. There was a couple completions over the middle, but they really didn't attack the linebackers that much. A lot, especially in the first half, it was kind of deep outside the number stuff, with comebacks or out routes. They did hit one deep over the middle Christian Kirk route, which was on number 4, Kader Kohu. So that wasn't great. They did give up they fell asleep on the wheel. They really shouldn't have given up 17 points. That Brian Thomas touchdown was just lazy defense. And you could even see the reaction on Jordan Poyer's face where it was like, we should not have given that up. We really just stopped walking. And Brian Thomas kept playing, kept the play going. And everybody else just was, I guess, checked out. I have no idea. So that was really lazy. The third down defense in this game was phenomenal. It's crazy to even read the stat. The Jags were 2 for 10 on third down. The Dolphins were 8 for 16. They got half of them. We really killed them in every category in this game. We were on the field way more. We had 65 plays to their 50. We definitely lost the penalty battle. The time of possession we won. First downs we won. Fourth down efficiency, nobody won that. It's kind of crazy to read this and think, oh wow, we really did beat them in almost every category. Even yards per play. The only thing we lost was rushing yards. We almost doubled their total yards. And it's a good football team, too, against Jacksonville. And obviously the biggest play of the game was Javon Holland, who just had a phenomenal game covering Evan Ingram. And remember, he missed a lot of games last year. And it was just really nice to see him back and healthy. Shout out to Kendall Fuller, who I thought man, dude, he's just a really good veteran corner. And I thought he had a really good game. He did give up one pass to Gabe Davis. But he made it a huge play on Christian Kirk to knock the ball out of his hands. He made another great play on that 4th and 1 stop coming across the field, keeping outside contained. He's just a really good player. And I thought he kind of popped up a lot and did a really good job. So far out of some of the new additions to the team, Kendall Fuller played great. Jordan Poyer I thought looked really good too. Especially next to Holland. I think that's going to be much better. It's going to be a bigger upgrade. And it was good to see the pass rush come alive. I mean, they're like I said, when the Dolphins got them in third down, they couldn't convert. And that's a testament to the secondary and the front seven, who I thought came up big in big moments with the pass rush. And that was a big concern for everybody, but I thought the pass rush was pretty good in this game against a pretty good, I would say a good offensive line for Jacksonville. So it was really good to see that. Chop Robinson, he didn't do too much in this game. He did play a few times. He played a good amount. Didn't really do too much in this game. Hopefully he can kind of get his groove going here. Yeah, but defensively, those are my thoughts. I think it's too early to tell if there's what are some of the major issues. Hopefully there's not any. But clearly Kader Kohu hasn't gotten any better. To the point where he's literally everybody's attacking him. I don't know what hopefully there's some adjustments made when it comes to that. But the defense played phenomenal in that second half. Yeah, I think we pretty much covered it. This game against Buffalo, phenomenal game, by the way. And one of the other things I want to know is one of the best home crowds that we've had. I thought the crowd was great in this game. It was really electric. And honestly, it was one of the best crowds we've had in a long time. It really affected Jacksonville. They had a few times they had to call timeouts, took a couple delayed games. One was on their punt team, one was offensively, and there was another time Trevor had to take a timeout. because it got so loud. So I was really proud of the crowd and the home crowd. Really need them to show up against Buffalo. I don't need to tell anybody. I don't even want to mention the fact that these Buffalo fans come to our stadium like that. I hope on Thursday night we need a big crowd. We need everything that we can possibly have go our way. Hopefully it does go our way. And I'm very excited about this game. Great game against Jacksonville. Biggest things that stood out, Waddle's healthy. He looks way healthier. Secondary of the defense looked pretty good. Even though it was a shaky first half, I thought Kendall Fuller looks really good. Devon Holland looks really good. Jordan Poyer looks good. So that's good. And pass rush is, I think, better than we thought it was going to be early on. And they did a really good job on third down defense. Shout out to Anthony Weaver. And I thought the pass protection was really good. We just need more Jonnu Smith, and Cater Coe has to play better. So that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed. And I'll see you guys in the next one.